evening and welcome to Toke Moments live at the Heineken Lagos Fashion Week 2025. Now, I absolutely love Fashion Week because it's buzzing with people, outfits, color. I cannot get enough of it. I mean, we've heard London Fashion Week, New York Fashion Week, and Lagos has a place in the map. And I'm super duper excited that today we're going to be having engaging conversations centering around made in Africa, globally recognized and accepted, and also the power of branding, the power of imagery, and what's not. So I have a lineup of guests that will be joining me on the show today, but we've always had made in Africa, made in Africa. It became a trend. It became something that people just love to say. And I absolutely am so proud of the growth that the Lagos Fashion Week has actually put in motion in terms of our fashion, our music. And, you find that across the world, everyone's talking about Nigerian fashion. It's a thing. If you check on TikTok, designers are crossing over, going global, even from the comforts of being here in Lagos. It's absolutely beautiful. And I feel like Nigerians in diaspora have a major part to play in this growth. But before we delve into all of that, I have interesting guests from either modeling or imaging, just talking to us about how important it is to put our best foot forward and just to talk about the growth in the fashion industry. Today, we'll be talking about what luxury really means now. As you've heard, made in Nigeria, made in Africa, accepted globally. I was watching on TikTok this morning, and I see a lot of influencers, even from around the world, attending Lagos Fashion Week. I saw the AMVCAs go so global. Outfits were reviewed by different, influencers from around the world who haven't even been to Lagos. And, Nigeria is the giant of Africa. I always like to say that. I know that Africa, in terms of music, culture, movies, fashion, is the in thing right now. But then there's Nigeria. Nigeria is taking the conversation to a whole new level. Now, joining me today, I'm going to introduce my guest. We're first going to start with this amazing conversation with two incredible people who are shaping what African luxury, made in Africa looks like. One in imagery, the other in strutting the runway. Ladies and gentlemen, join me as I introduce you to first Ibidunni Damilola. He's a photographer and a visual storyteller whose lens has redefined how we see modern African fashion. His work captures the sweet spots between aspiration and authenticity, the kind of imagery that makes people fall in love with Nigerian fashion all over again. We've worked together for 3 years. He's my absolute good friend, and I absolutely love him to bits. He takes his job so seriously. Ladies and gentlemen, Ibidunni Damilola. Welcome to Toke Moments. You have to turn on the microphone. They have to hear you. I know they see your work, but now we have to hear the voice behind the work. Hi. I'm good. Welcome to the show. All right, now joining Ibidunni is someone that I absolutely adore as well. First up, she's a woman who understands that style is more than what you wear. She looks like a mannequin. She's absolutely drop-dead gorgeous. It's the story you tell. Aduke Shitta-Bey is a fashion entrepreneur and a creative strategist who mastered the art of storytelling through style. Now, her work sits at the intersection of culture, design, and digital innovation. It's proof that luxury can be both rooted in heritage and elevated through innovation. Welcome to the show, Aduke. How are you? You have to turn on your mic so they can hear you.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Welcome.
You look
so beautiful.
Thank you.
I'm so excited that I'm talking to you guys because it's so diverse, but it's very much needed in this conversation. Now, we've often heard about, how the world is tapping into African fashion now. Mm-hmm. We see it in the imagery. We see it in the runways. We see it in the designers. People are talking about, African fashion. It started off as a trend, but it's become a thing. What do you guys think about the evolution of the Nigerian fashion industry, which you're very much engrossed in one, and just, the global appeal of the fashion week and fashion industry in Nigeria?
I think it's amazing to see, obviously, as a fashion model that obviously started from Lagos, and just getting to see Nigerian designers going from Lagos and now being represented internationally, having shows in Paris, Milan, London, New York. It's been amazing to see. It's been a great evolution to see. I think it's very important because we're telling our own stories as Nigerians and Africans.
What about you?
Seeing the number of videographers that we have right now and what they're doing, it is amazing. I mean, I still love films from Milan Fashion Week, from the Paris Fashion Week, and I can dare say that we are at that level where we can compete internationally with the films. It's amazing. I'm so proud to be a videographer at this time. So yes, it is good to see.
Now, I talked briefly before we started talking about one of our biggest movie and television nights in Nigeria. In 2025, I don't know about you guys, but the aftermath is always where the conversation starts. We know the power of imagery, right? Because I mean, you can talk about all of this, but the imagery is what really showcases either in editorials, in fashion shows like we're in movies, in television. But we had that one event. And this year, I saw so many international influencers gagging. It wasn't about the Met Gala. It wasn't about even the Oscars. It was about African fashion. That very moment, what does it mean to you in your individual fields?
Which event was that?
I think the AMVCA happened this year. It was one of the ones that I talked about where
I feel like for me, I've always, I love Nigerian designers. I breed Nigerian designers. I've always thought they were amazing. So I just felt like the world, they were just getting to know. They were just getting to see what has already been there. And they're just finally appreciating it. And I feel like that is that access is because of social media. You know, so it wasn't like it wasn't there. There was just no room opportunity for people to see it. But now social media, like, people go viral. So like now they're getting to see, oh, wow, that's from Nigeria. Oh, Nigeria is doing this. And that's really like amazing.
Yeah. Now I know that that's also your field in terms of imagery and putting together that aesthetic. So let's talk about, she touched on media, which I totally agree, because all of this would be completely useless if there wasn't the access that media gives. How important is it to, not just have the clothes, not just have the vision, but the imaging?
So, a bad film can ruin a good outfit.
Oof.
Easy.
Wow.
A bad film can ruin a good outfit. But you see, when you put a good film and a good outfit together, you have magic. So over the years, it is amazing to see how much growth we've had as videographers or filmmakers in general, because what it has done, it has helped us push out the narrative better. The films look better. The lenses are more expensive, of course, but it makes the imagery better. I mean, I've been shooting for the AMVC for about 3 years now, Glam X. And the truth is, when I started and where I am right now, I can see how the outfits have improved. I can see how the cameras are better. So what has happened is two worlds have come together to create magic. So it's important that we keep pushing the narrative, getting better skills, better editing skills, better narratives in general. Because the truth is, Milan Fashion Week is Milan Fashion Week because they show us the nice things. There's some people at Milan Fashion Week that are not dressed good, but you won't see it. That's
Wow.
the truth. You won't see it. But the things that they would push out at Paris, in London, are the good things. So that is my job. My job is to bring out the best. I don't care if maybe a helm on your outfit is bad. I won't show that on my film. My job is to make sure you look good.
All right. So, I mean, he talked about the technical part, and that's actually, in line of what he does. Now, coming to you, how important it is, because you hear about aesthetics on Instagram and, it's still the power of imagery, but a lot of work goes into putting together a collection or whatever it is that you're doing. Say, for instance, you're an influencer, a digital creator, and it's a lot of work. But how important is it to, if you don't have the technical assistant that he does, like film is not your thing, but you still want to put together what you have for the rest of the world to see. For someone who's watching us right now, what steps do you think they can take? How important is it to have that clean aesthetics? Is it a thing? Is it really real?
Okay, so for me, I just always tell people you have to be yourself. Like, I know right now we're in the era of like aesthetics and everything having to be curated, but if you go to my Instagram page, my page is not curated. I just live in the moment and post as I am. I'm not trying to show people who I'm not. So I just like never put too much pressure on myself when it comes to content creation. And I do have my friends telling me, like, okay, you need to post more, you need to do this, you need to do that. I'm like, I can't even like, it's not really for me. I don't really sit down and plan. Like, some people have like an app where they plan what to post. And
It's a job. She's not lying.
yeah, and obviously, like that, it's a lot of work, it's a
It's
lot of
hard work.
effort,
It's hard
and
work.
like shout out to them. But I'm not just that person. I just post how I feel, and I don't ever want to succumb to like social media pressure of always having to like be so picture perfect. You know what? I actually really hate being picture perfect, but sometimes my pictures come out very perfect.
Girl, because you look perfect. Imagine someone looking like us, and I hate being picture perfect. You look like a model. You look like a mannequin. There's literally anything that you throw on that will fit you. So maybe you shouldn't be the one preaching that. But you touched on something that I want to ask.
Yeah.
How do we then balance aspirational imagery with authentic representation? How do we do that? Because she's preaching being authentic to yourself. So where do we find a balance?
So, honestly, Toke, this is show business.
Yes.
This is genuinely show business. One thing I have learned is it's show business. My job is to make sure that the audience doesn't see your imperfections.
Yes.
So I don't really care about the authenticity. I'm not going to lie to you. I just want to make you look good. I'm so sorry. I just want to make you look good. If they want to see how you look, they can see you in person. But for the film, I just want to make you look good. I mean, maybe some people might frown at that. But the truth is, you'll never see a bad film of Beyonce. I'm just saying, you never see a bad film of a Kelly Rowland. Not because they're perfect, but because they understand it is show business. Show business. Imagery is very important.
So another thing that I want to ask you guys, we've talked about platforms like social media. We've talked about, international runways who showcase these fashion weeks and make us dream from the comforts of our homes. But I want to ask, which moments, platforms or people do you think have done the best job of capturing the real story of African fashion? Off the top of your head, if you think about African fashion, which moments, which people, which, platforms do you think have done incredibly well to, giving African fashion its spotlights?
Well, I would say like Nigerian designers, because they keep pushing barriers, they keep pushing forward, and they style different people from Africa to New York to India. Like right now, I mean, what's that designer? Vicky James. She was on a tour in America,
Still
and
is,
she
I
was
think.
charging like people 1.5, and people are paying it. So it just shows that Nigerian designers, they keep crossing across borders. Also, Vicnet as well had a show in Paris as well. Doing Paris Fashion Week. Tokyo James had his Milan Fashion Week. So it's like Nigerian designers keep pushing across every border. It's like when you think that, this is where they can start with the African, because there are some Nigerians that think that African designers, Nigerian designers, local. No, it's not. They are very much international, very internationally recognized, and very much wanted.
I like that, but I also have another question to ask off the back of that. I feel like that notion of Nigerian fashion being local was a thing at some point. What changed?
The films, the models.
Creativity, the people involved. And I feel like when I don't even think it was an intentional change, or people say, okay, let's plan this, da, da, da. It was just like growth. Everyone was growing together at some point, access to things, and just like people just coming together, create, okay, let's do this show, or this is how I want it to be. And people just started putting different things together, and that's really what brought about the growth in the fashion industry in Nigeria, to be very honest.
One thing that I I'm so passionate about, one thing that I wanted them to mention, but it's also in the line, is I think that regardless of when we start to tell our true, authentic African story, we cannot deny the effect that Nigerians in diaspora play in making this happen. Because the designer in the comfort of our home is probably designing for somebody who is roommates with someone who is from somewhere that they've never seen anything African. And they see these things. 10, 15, 20 years back, people didn't even want to wear our hair. Like, we always wanted to wear weaves to hide our hair. But the Nigerians in diaspora started being proudly authentic wherever they were around the world. Our voices became louder. Our clothes became more colorful. You walk on the streets and you have to stop somebody and be like, where is this from? Senegal, Cotonou, Nigeria. And you're like, wow. So I agree that, the designers have done an excellent job, but I also think the people being comfortable in their own skin, the consumers, Lagos Fashion Week has played an important role with that. This is 15 years. I remember the first Lagos Fashion Week. A lot of people probably didn't even want to come out of their homes because they're like, well, what does that even mean? You see these designers. They looked at them like tailors. And then the imagery, the photography, the models, and it just took off and we're unstoppable. So from where we are now, we've done 15 years of Lagos Fashion Week. Where do you see African fashion going? Is it a trend or is it something that is here to stay?
It's here to stay for sure. I am actually really excited for African fashion because every single year the designers come up with something new, different. Yesterday, Bubu Ogusi, she had like a performance, a show, and it was so amazing. I don't know if people here got to see it, but it wasn't just a show, it was a performance. It was art, it was designing, it was acting, it was a mix of everything. And I'm so excited for that because a lot of designers are going towards like performance. So it just doesn't stop as, a piece of cloth. When they have their shows, when they have their shoots, when they have like even the film as well, you can see the story. They're telling their story. Bubu uses like the most random things to create the most amazing pieces. Those sponges, like those hard brown ones, and even the normal ones that they hawk on the road for like 100 or 200 naira. She makes clothes and bags out of that, which I think is amazing because that's also a way of like recycling and like repurposing stuff as opposed to just throwing it away. So there's a lot of that coming into like what there has been in Nigerian fashion, and it's just pushing forward. And I'm really excited for that.
Yeah. Ibidunni, do you want to comment on that? Because I know that the designers can do all of this work, but I feel like your field in terms of film and photography, because you talked about someone using a sponge that is like 150 naira. They've been doing it from time memorial. You go to like rural areas and then you find people who are working with their hands. And these are things that Balenciaga can slap a price on and will be $3,000 in the first world, but back home, they don't have that exposure. So the film and fashion marriage, is it a trend or is it here to stay?
So I would say that it's here to stay. Why? Because the truth is, Nigerian fashion designers are brilliant. Honestly, I have to just give them their flowers. The finishing.
And sometimes it's handcrafted as well.
Yeah.
The finishing. I'm a fashion filmmaker, and for fashion films or campaigns, it's very hard to edit things. For photography, it's easier. But the truth is, I would go into a fashion campaign or a fashion film, and I don't have to do much because the finishing is perfect. They understand what fashion is, and like Aduke has rightly said, it's here to stay easily because they understand. Now they pay attention to the details, and which is something that I feel like a lot of people need to give them their flowers for. Whether it's a small scale fashion designer or a medium scale or is a top dog in the business, they understand that the finishing on your client, on the model, it is important that it has to be perfect. So I think for me, it will only get bigger from here.
All right. So, what role do digital creators, stylists, models, content creators like yourselves play in shaping what African luxury looks like? First, in your own words, I want to know what African luxury means to you. Like, what is African luxury?
Oh, that's a very interesting one because I feel like that word
Personally,
luxury.
when
Yeah,
you say
so
African luxury, what does that mean? Is it the clothes? Is it the finishing, as you've touched on? Can you say it's couture? Is it
I would say so. I would say African luxury is probably the effort put in because it's not easy to make ashoke. Yesterday at the GT Bank, they had an exhibition thingy, and for the first time, I was seeing the ashoke loom. Right, I'd never seen that in real life, and I saw that, and I understood the effort, the time they sit there to do the thingy and and go over it to make like 1 yard, and then I have to make like 3 yards and probably 4 yards of that. That takes so much time to make African pieces, even down to like when they get cowries, corals, a lot of like African
which just things
designs,
that,
I guess,
designs,
like
pieces
that they make the outfit. Yes, it's very hard to source them, and I feel like that's where the luxury comes from. That's what I think.
okay, honestly, that's actually true. So, a fashion brand that I just worked with recently, Bizboard, I saw what it took for them to create those pieces, the ashoke. So I am also in the wedding industry, and I have seen that fashion is super important because you see those ashoke those brides wear. It is very intricate, and it is amazing how they put these pieces together. The texture, the color, the fragrance. It is brilliant. So, and you think about it, week in, week out, there's always a wedding in Lagos. And right now, the most important part of a wedding in Lagos is the fashion. That is a luxury, easily.
So people would argue and say that because these things are from here and sourced from here, why are they ridiculously priced? It's relative. For someone, it's affordability. For someone, it's, I like African fashion, but they are doing too much now. You know, they are also trying to, we pointed out a designer who is in New York and charging like 1,500. There was a debate online about that.
Yeah.
You know, there will always be people who always think that because the things are from here, nothing is imported. Why is it so expensive?
I feel like, okay, so I feel like there's a thin line because in a way we can definitely say that some African designers are definitely overpriced. And I feel like people in your country need to be able to afford what you're selling. You know, you always have to consider that your prices cannot start. How much is minimum wage in Nigeria? You know, and okay, if you're not considering just people, let's say you consider like middle class. If the middle class can't afford like some of the OG legendary designers, then who are you truly designing for? You know, it can't only be like people in diaspora that are earning in like dollars that should only be able to afford your pieces. So it's basically a very thin line, and designers also need to be considerate. Not everyone has 30 billion to spend. You know, some people want to wear African pieces because right now a lot of people are consuming fast fashion, buy fashion over. But I'm very sure if they were like, because there's so many beautiful African designers that are making so many pieces. But then again, the price points sometimes, I've seen certain price points and I'm just like, auntie, why this? You know, so I feel like it's just a thin line, and they also just kind of have to consider it needs to be that balance of, okay, cool, you can have the extreme luxury, but you can also have the affordable relative like designs for day-to-day people.
What do you think about what she just said?
So I think I want to ruffle some feathers.
Let's do it.
So personally, I don't buy that. Why? I want to believe that not everybody in Milan can afford a Ralph Lauren. I'm just saying, not everybody in London can afford an Off-White. So it's okay. Because one thing I do know is from 2019 to now, I have seen the shift in the prices of products in fashion. Things are more expensive. artisans are expensive. A friend of mine, her name is Kamzi Naman, she owns a brand, it's loungewear brand. She was telling me how cowries are super expensive. Cowries, I mean, during time when you watch old Nollywood movies, cowries look like something that was flimsy. But now she has lounge pants. And she was telling me how they are very expensive. Now, I don't blame her if her pants are costing 100K plus because they're expensive. Even linen, it's expensive. And honestly and truly, I don't really buy this thing of if you can afford it, you can afford it. I'm so sorry. If you can afford it, it's okay. Buy what you can afford. And it's not about trying to be classist or anything. It is okay because, like I said, it's not everybody in Milan that can afford a Ralph Lauren. I get that you want to sell to your people, which is us, but it is okay to save towards it. Honestly and truly, I don't mind saving towards a Toke purse, for instance. I mean, I will save towards it if I can afford it. I don't mind saving towards a Tia Nathan suit. I'll save towards it because I do know that these pieces are expensive. Fine, they can be a bit considerate, but genuinely and truly, they are spending a lot of money on cost of production. Fuel is expensive. These things run. I mean, in Nigeria, we don't have 24 hours power supply. Fuel is expensive. Even transport is expensive. So, honestly and truly, I would say, like, if you can afford it, buy it. If you can afford it, save towards it. Or buy something that you can afford.
Well, someone can sit here and hear both of you and also say or ask, why do you think they are that expensive? I hear you about the cost of things going up, but again, I did mention that someone can argue and say most of these resources are actually here. Now, if you find this in the first world and they are putting this crazy price on it, it's probably because they had to ship it in from somewhere, whatever. And workmanship here, they would say labor is cheap. Do you think it might be the craft, it might be the name you're buying into, which I'm on the fence here, right? Because I'm not saying it's bad or it's good, but I'm saying, would it be okay for a designer to say, I've worked hard for 10 years and for me to put my brand on this label, then it should come with a certain sort of, if I'm going to call it luxury, it has to be expensive, basic.
It's okay.
Without not much English.
It's okay. Honestly, if you feel like you've worked hard for a long time, and you want a certain price attached to your brand, it is okay. Because guess what? You've actually worked for it.
So
and
it's
also,
okay.
It's okay. And again, even the so-called materials that we source here, as easy as Ashoke might seem like, okay, it should be cheap. Like you rightly said, you watch them create it in real time. That's hard work.
Yeah, of course.
It is hard work. So, and when in Nigeria, we don't have many brilliant artisans. When you find an artisan that is good, that you've also trained, keep him. And it takes money to keep people. It's not, loyalty is not in Nigeria now. Money is what keeps people in Nigeria.
Okay. You want to say something?
Yeah,
He touched on what you wanted to say.
just, okay, so talking about the artisans, right? A lot of this, I'm not trying to be shady or disrespectful to anyone, but a lot of the designers do, so I think it's many, even the newer designers that actually charge exorbitant amounts. Because even the older designers, they don't really charge their prices are not insane. It's actually mainly the newer designers that when you see a pair of pants, you're seeing $700. They're like, hold up, huh? This person just... $700. I don't want to name names.
Okay.
Because I could, but I'm not going to do that. Right? But with older designers, they have a lot of affordable pieces that you can buy. And also, let's be for real. The amount they're charging, do they even pay the artisans half of it? That's also another conversation. I'm not trying to shake the table. Honestly, I'm just being very honest because this is
because she's right.
This is a
lot of
very
debates about.
Because I just said that it's a very thin line, and because you mentioned Milan, right? The Milan, their minimum wage. People there, their economy is good. So you can't compare Milan to Nigeria because...
But I think something happened a while back where...
No, of course.
They were complaining about not being paid well. So I think it's everywhere.
No, but you can't compare it to Nigeria.
Of course, Nigeria is different.
The state of living in Nigeria is terrible and poor. It is very poor. In Milan, day-to-day people can actually live good. They can live well. They can eat well. They have access to good healthcare. But it's not the same. So I wouldn't be comparing Nigeria to Milan. It's just too far. But like I said, there is a thin line, and we can keep talking and talking. But I'm gonna keep quiet now.
Okay. So let's move on and let's talk technology. Technology has been married to fashion of late. Because from what we've discussed on this panel, it's not that the clothes were just discovered or the creativity was just discovered. The technology gave access, right? So, for instance, 5 years back, we might not have had a live podcast in a fashion week talking about fashion and the growth in the fashion industry watched all over, but it's happening today. So let's talk about this whole technology coming in and, the AIs and how everyone is like, okay, is this taking our jobs or is this here to make our lives better? How intrigued are you by the relationship between, technology in fashion, and in what areas can we fine tune it to also make it better?
Oh, well, that's a very interesting one because I think I had a fashion shoot today, and I remember telling a friend of mine, because it was a personal branding shoot for a client. I remember telling him that I get the AI thing, but just do good work. Just do good work. I get it. Do good work and hope to God that nothing happens to your craft and you get better. Just do good work.
Okay, so for me, art is life, and like they say, art imitates life. So I saw a video today of Heidi Klum in her Halloween costume, and she's very dedicated to every year different type of costumes. And she was talking about how AI has obviously AI is everywhere, and everyone's just doing AI, and how it's very important for art to live. Art lives through humanity, So even while AI is existing, you also can't use AI to create everything. You're not longer a creative, To be a creative is coming from you, coming from your soul, coming from the depths, the passion. That's what sets you apart from AI. So AI can exist quite all right, but I don't think creatives should depend on AI. You can use it here and there for certain things, but if all your art is AI, then is that really art? Because art is from the soul and passion.
I think last year, sorry to cut you short, I think last year, I'm not certain, but I'm so sure that I watched a fashion show in one of these fashion weeks that was AI generated. And I didn't know how I felt about that, because technology is here to stay and we're all supposed to embrace it and tap into it because it's supposed to make your life better. But as you said, art is from the soul. Do you think that technology might make it too accessible? Because right now, as we are in this room speaking, there are people who don't even do photo shoots anymore. They're AI generated. They can get it done they can create a fashion, a whole collection on AI, and it's like...
So what Aduke said, art is life. You can't take away the soul from taking a photograph of someone and a machine generating an image of someone. You can tell the difference. You can just tell the difference. There's a certain amount of imitation that comes from being an artist. You need to be able to relate to that person on a certain level. I shoot wedding fashion films, and in every frame, I see the love. I have to understand the love to film the love. A machine doesn't understand the love. So the nuances are there, but you see that soul that you mentioned, the machine doesn't know it. So like I said, just do good work. Eventually, things will come around. AI is yet to stay. It helps, but no fear, just do good work. And again, there's a certain level, like I said, of intuition that comes being an artist. Just keep doing it. Like you said, that feeling that you had when you saw it, it was I don't really.
I didn't even know. I had to look closely because these days online, you have to literally look closely. When they speak, everything is doctored, and you're like, that's AI?
No, but the thing
Deepfake.
is, it's okay. If you look very closely, you can't tell that this is AI. Like, why Sora, you can just tell that. So Sora these days, they create videos on TikTok of Nigerians. And I'm like, this is not how a Nigerian father would speak. You can tell, like, it lacks soul. I mean, like, technology gets better. So maybe after a while, they'll get the soul part. I don't know. But you can just tell that there's something missing here. There's a way a groom would smile at his bride. There's a way a model would work in an outfit. There's a way Aduke would do a twirl in an outfit. And the way an AI-generated version of Aduke would tweet an outfit. Aduke would do with the with the style, with the frame. She do with everything. AI might try, but you can't take away from the soul. Yes, you can't.
All right, interesting. Let's see where the world leads us, because, I mean, we're all spectators as we go by. Now, talking about Made in Africa, we've touched on that part, but there's also the global takeover. And I feel like even personal branding, people are so obsessed with this whole going global, right? Putting Africa on the map. Is it something that happens just by you doing what you're doing? Or is there a strategy behind all of that as, a fashion entrepreneur, either a model, either an image creator, giving life to imagery, or, basically putting life behind most of these things we see. We've given all the accolades to being made in Africa, but how important and what are the things you think that are still left for us to do to really take center stage in the world? What can they do in terms of the growth of the fashion industry?
I feel like, we need to invest in ourselves a lot more, to be very honest. That's really all I can say as Africans, because I have some friends that I was talking to them about, like, buying, like, stuff from Nigerian design. And they're like, oh, no, it's not. I'm just like, sorry. That is a very shallow mindset to have. You should be able to buy Nigerian, wear Nigerian everywhere in the world. And it's like a lot of these brands you see, Chanel, Dior, they grew because people around them supported them. It wasn't people from Africa. When Coco Chanel started, it wasn't people from Africa that started to purchase. No, it was people around her that started to buy her stuff. And I guess, obviously, she marketed herself towards them. So you just have to buy Nigerian, support Nigerians, wear Nigerian, and be proud of, like, your people. Not just saying, if you're not carrying a Birkin, you're not a babe. If you're not carrying a freaking LV, you are not a babe. No, buy the shadow. We have the shadow is literally purely leather as well. It's just like Hermes, and they make it here in Africa. I've also heard that a lot of, like, the leathers that they use in Italy and a lot of places comes from Nigeria, comes from Kano. So I feel like Nigerians need to stop looking down on, like, other Nigerians and Nigerian designers and actually be proud. That money you are carrying to go and buy LV, Dior, buy your people so the money stays within, it grows within. Designers are eating better, models are eating better, stylists are getting paid better, photographers are getting paid better. That's how also the economy grows an ecosystem. So that's really what I think.
To buttress what Aduke said, I learned recently that, to be noticed out there, start from home easily. A Whiskey, Davido, Burna Boy, I feel like they would not have the level of international fame and recognition they have if they stayed over there. Because your people have to love you first. So Nigerians need to buy Nigerians for us to be noticed over there. Because we're the ones that will push our narrative. It's not them that push our narrative. It's not really not them. I'm a fashion filmmaker. I feel like I would not be where I am right now if, as a Nigerian, I did not start with Nigerian brands. It was the Nigerian brands that I shot here that got me to Paris, that got me to Malta.
That's amazing. But there's also a catch in what you're saying. How important is this international recognition? If we're truly going to talk made in Africa,
okay, so
why do we need them to recognize us?
So it's the same way to think about it. Disney movies, they don't have stories anymore. Why do you think they're trying to tap into African stories? It's because they see our importance. I feel like we help each other, in my opinion. Yeah, it's a thin line. I feel like
I don't mean to cut you. The reason why I asked that is because there are many people who are killing themselves and being stuck in their creative process because they are thinking outwardly, I'm designing for the rest of the world. When David and Wizkid and the likes were making music, they probably didn't even think that their sound would travel. Time and chance happened. Again, the Nigerians in diaspora, they're the biggest consumers of Nigerian music, right? But then you find many brands of late, many young designers of late who also do this hotel thing where they don't even want to affiliate with here, but would say made in Africa. We use chorus for the African thing, but I'm looking at you, I'm like, you don't even want to relate with where you're from. So make it make sense. Are you working so hard to be recognized by people who, in the end, it's even your people that are still going to help you sell out? You know what I mean? So how important is this recognition? Maybe if we took it out, we would just do ourselves, like Fela did for so many years, and he got the global stage.
So I feel like, in the fashion world, in the fashion industry, even as a creative, that if you want to succeed internationally, your people have to love you first. That's one thing I've heard and I've learned. So whatever you're doing, your people have to also fuck with you, because it's actually your people that push you, to be very honest. That's really what that is. Do you want to add to that?
Yeah, like she rightly said, it's I feel like people who have that mentality that you just mentioned, they have it wrong. They genuinely have it wrong. In my opinion, is I want to be appreciated by people around me first before I go out there. I that's it for me, because people around me, they will be able to interpret my art better than anybody else. Because I don't know how to. If I was selling to the UK market, for instance, and I'm using a song from Kano, they can understand it. But guess what? If my people in Nigeria love that sound and it goes viral in Nigeria, you'll be shocked how people in the UK will start dancing to the sound.
Of course.
So it's like you have to work here first.
It doesn't work here. Yeah.
Once you do it here, don't worry, the world will come around.
It'll come. Amazing. I want to thank you guys for sharing your wealth of knowledge. I've had so much fun on this panel and chatting about it. So the last question I'm going to ask you both is, we've done 15 years. Shout out to Heineken, 15 years of Lagos Fashion Week. Absolutely incredible. It grew with each year, from the very first one to 15 years. Let's dream another 10 years. Where do you see African fashion luxury?
What do I see? I see it everywhere. Because I actually already see it everywhere. And I know it's just only going to keep getting better. We have, like I said, we have so many designers that they were just like doing things here. And people abroad even hit them up. They're like, oh, they want to pull their pieces. They want to buy their pieces. So like, I know there's only going to be more of that in the future. Like, I see it, I feel it, and it's happening currently.
All right. Thank you, Ibidunni. What about you?
Exactly what Aduke said. It's like I said earlier in the session, it's gonna get better from here. That's it. There's been so much growth. It's amazing to see. It's inspiring. So it will get better from here.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that has been Ibidunni and Aduke, and this panel was all about made in Africa, but globally set for the center stage. Thank you guys for being a part of this.
Thank you
this
for
has
having
been
us.
awesome.
Thank you so much.
I definitely enjoyed myself, and see you guys around.
You too. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
This is Lagos, a city of innovation, a city of style, a city of excellence. We shape beauty with our hands stitched from the rhythm of the market. Our roots are deep, and we wear them with pride.
Oh, yeah, fine boy, take away auntie, bougie, ile, oh, I fancy when I see a type. One kill.
Modern, fearless, Lagos is always one step ahead. The heartbeat of African fashion and innovation, where taste rules. This city inspires. Here's to Lagos, to fashion, to the city of cities.